In this episode of the Whole Foods Plant Strong Show, we are going to explore 10 different ways to cook and enjoy cauliflower. Welcome to the Whole Foods Plant Strong Show, where I explore and discuss tips and ideas to make a health-promoting whole foods plant strong eating habit possible and enjoyable. I am Dr. Chan, your host. And in this episode, we are going to put the spotlight on cauliflower. We shall be doing some tasting of cauliflower as well as explore 10 different ways to cook and enjoy cauliflower. And I have invited a guest, Rain from Singapore, to help me do that. Hi Rain, welcome to the Whole Foods Plant Strong Show. I would like to start by inviting you to do a short self-introduction.
Hi Dr. Chan. Hi, I'm Rain. I'm 44 this year and I'm a property agent. I love to eat and I love to cook. I started cooking because I was working and studying overseas for almost 10 years in very, very ulu parts of US and China. So I had to learn to cook to satisfy my food cravings.
The spotlight for this episode of the Whole Foods Plant Strong Show is on cauliflower. We are going to discuss and share our experiences about the different ways that we can cook and enjoy cauliflower. But before we do that, let's do a food tasting of the cauliflower from Naturally Nurtured Australia, who is supporting this episode of the Whole Foods Plant Strong Show. Naturally Nurtured Australia's produce promises to be big on taste and rich in nutrition, and is now available in Singapore. To find out about the regenerative farming grown produce from Naturally Nurtured Australia and information about where to get them in Singapore, you can check out their website, link in the description below. And before we got onto this show, I prepared some cauliflower from Naturally Nurtured Australia and got them delivered to Rain. So how do you cook the cauliflower that I have sent to you?
I just steam it for about 14 minutes.
Do you add any seasoning to it?
No.
For me, I cut the cauliflower into bite-sized florets, steam them for a few minutes. No seasoning of any kind, just the cauliflower on its own. Okay, do you have your cauliflower?
Yep.
Okay, let's try. Let's taste it on its own without any sauce, without any seasoning. What do you think? How would you describe the taste of this cauliflower that I sent to you from Naturally Nurtured Australia?
Frankly, before that, normal cauliflower, I'm usually not a very big fan. At the most, I'll use it in like Chinese soups or stir fries. Sometimes I'll cook it other ways, but because of the taste of the cauliflower, it only fits certain cooking methods well, because I've tried a wide variety. Because there's a certain taste of cauliflower, but this one actually tastes, I would say it's something like spring water versus tap water.
What do you mean by that? Spring water versus tap water?
Like normal cauliflower, like tap water, that has a bit of a chemical taste to it, like greeny, like I think when I tried to cook cauliflower rice with the regular cauliflower, I didn't like the taste so much because it has this like a bit taste to it or something like that. Yeah, but I think with this one, it's the first time I'm eating like steamed cauliflower just like that, and I actually really enjoy it.
Let me just share with you how I got to know about this Naturally Nurtured Australia. I first tasted this cauliflower about 3 months ago when Naturally Nurtured Australia reached out to me, telling me about how rich in nutrients their produce is and the benefits of regenerative farming, the method by which they grow their produce. The first thing that I asked them was, how does it taste? Does it taste good? That was very important to me. You know, I used to run a restaurant, right? I did that because from my experience coaching people, including my patients, to improve their diet for health, it is actually not easy to convince them to get plant stronger in their diet, to eat healthier, to eat more vegetables, to put more vegetables onto their plates consistently. Just by telling them about the health benefits, just by telling them about the nutrients, it's sometimes a hard sell, very difficult to convince people. So for me, I found that it is easier to seduce them into eating more vegetables by making them yummy. So for food to become medicine, they must first become food that we love and enjoy. So when Naturally Nurtured Australia a few months ago sent a produce for me to sample, the first thing I tried was a cauliflower. Like you, when I ran my restaurant, I used to cook the cauliflower with a lot of seasoning, with curry, strong flavored kind of sauces and condiments. Cauliflower has a aftertaste, a baseline taste that is a little bit not so pleasant, right? When I ate this cauliflower from Naturally Nurtured Australia, I was like, this is different. Right?
Mm.
Like you, I usually do not eat cauliflower on its own. And then I tested it on my family. I made the containers full and then get them to taste. And I had the intention of putting them in the fridge, but I never got down to doing that because it will finish before I can even do that. Wow. It was really like quite different. So I became like not just a fan, but such an advocate for the cauliflower and the produce from Naturally Nurtured Australia, because I've been wanting to encourage people to put more vegetables onto their plates more consistently. Right now, I found one of the most powerful weapon, vegetables that actually taste so good, even just on its own.
Yeah, this will make very good cauliflower rice. I mean, like I said, I tried cauliflower rice before. It's just a bit because of the original taste of the cauliflower, but I think this one definitely no problem.
So I have listed down 10 common ways that people cook and enjoy cauliflower, including stir frying it, having it as part of a salad, cauliflower mash, cauliflower rice, cauliflower stew, cauliflower curry soup, and some of my favorite are the last three. Having it as a cauliflower steak or grill or roasted. Now with this cauliflower that I found, I'm having cauliflower as a snack even, which was previously not quite possible because I didn't quite like the taste on its own. So let's start with the first two, which is stir frying using cauliflower as part of your salad. Is that something that you do as well?
Definitely stir frying. I mean, because that's like a very standard Chinese dish, right?
Yeah, very
I mean,
Asian, very Chinese.
Yep. Carrots, cauliflower, black fungus kind of thing, then you stir fry.
Maybe we won't spend too much time on this. These are like very common ways. How about cauliflower mash?
Actually, I've not tried this because I think the traditional cauliflower, the taste is a bit by itself. I don't think I'm very interested to make it to a mash and try it. Yeah. But with this one, maybe I'll try.
Yeah. For me, my experience with cauliflower mash would be at Western style restaurant. When they do plating, sometimes they will put some cauliflower mash. Yeah. It's like it's there. Like you can't really taste it, but before you know it, before you know you're eating cauliflower mash, it's gone, It's like, okay.
True.
But like you at home, I don't quite have this habit of making cauliflower mash as part of my meals. But I'm a fan of this cauliflower rice. How about you? Are you a fan of cauliflower rice?
Using the normal cauliflower, I didn't like the taste lah. Yeah, unless I add more seasoning to it and stuff. Making fried rice with cauliflower rice, it's okay.
Yeah, cauliflower rice is actually very easy to do. You just get a food processor, make them into small pieces, the size and shape that is quite close to that of rice. And many people, the dish that they can think of doing with cauliflower rice is to make fried rice with it. But it's not common for people to use cauliflower rice on its own like we would use white rice. The taste may not be that palatable to most people. This is actually a picture of the food, the menu, the offerings from a restaurant. You didn't get a chance to visit my restaurant before I closed it, right?
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So my concept of my restaurant was that I had a menu of maybe about 20, 30 over options. 90% of it are very plant strong. And I use a lot of interesting whole grains or healthier staples. And one of my best seller was actually cauliflower rice. You see the arrow of the
that looks good.
So I actually use a bit of quinoa to give it more texture, because if you sometimes do not get the cauliflower rice doneness done exactly right, it may become too soft, become a bit
too mushy. Yeah.
So I put quinoa,
that's a good idea.
Mix a little bit with it and give it a very nice texture. And also it increases the nutrient content as well of it, a good way to eat quinoa. And I sprinkle a little bit of Japanese seaweed on it. We Chinese tend to use rice as the base to enjoy our meats, our vegetables, or curries. So in my restaurant, the concept was that they can order the different kind of dishes, and then the cauliflower rice become the base for them to enjoy it with. Right? It was very well received. You share with me, these are pictures from you. You have actually tried before, friends or relatives who use cauliflower rice to make sushi.
With instead of using Japanese rice, at the bottom you use cauliflower rice. Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
And the other one, the other picture,
that's a cauliflower risotto. Right. Yeah, correct. It was so good. Way. Yeah, that my niece just ate it without knowing that it's not the usual risotto.
Yeah, giving me some ideas to go and experiment more with cauliflower rice. Using it for sushi, using it for risotto. That's quite cool. How about stew? Have you made cauliflower stew before?
No. Actually, not frequently.
For us as a family, sometimes we braise anything, we do any stew. we will throw some cauliflower into it. The texture can hold quite well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it absorb the flavor of the sauces, the spices of the stews very well as well. Next, I'm getting onto my favorites already. Using cauliflower as the main ingredient in curries. Ever since I sent you some cauliflower to sample, I understand that you've been cooking cauliflower curry.
Yeah, quite many times because it's very easy and very tasty, and yeah, you can put all sorts of vegetables inside. I've tried it with green curry. I've tried it with Japanese curry, like the Hokkaido vegetable curry.
In fact, at my restaurant when I was running it, I ran my restaurant. I was the head chef there, running the kitchen every day, every lunch, every dinner for about 5 years until 2019 when I closed it. So you see the arrow there? That's one of our top selling item. Cauliflower in Thai green curry.
Yeah, and actually makes the cauliflower a lot more acceptable to a lot of people. Before that, I never really tried cauliflower in curries before, but when I tried it, I loved it so much that I cooked it like over Chinese New Year. Then some of the relatives who tried it, surprisingly, they actually liked it a lot.
But curry is not something that I cook often at home because it requires a bit more work. But what I do quite often is to make soups out of it or add cauliflower into soup. We being Chinese, we tend to do the Chinese style of soup. I have tried before, but I have not made it myself. A creamy kind of cauliflower soup, like in this picture A. I did a video. I do not normally do cooking video because it's like, wow, it's a lot of work, doing the cooking video, the setup, the cooking recording, the editing. But one of the few that I did was this mushroom cauliflower tofu soup. This was done during the COVID-19 lockdown period, and I was trying to encourage people to eat more vegetables. So for those of you who are interested to watch this, I leave the link in the description below. Now I come to one of my top favorites, which is cauliflower steak. How about you?
Yeah, this one is one of my favorites also.
This in the picture here was something that I enjoyed with my wife. We often make it a point on our date nights to go and explore places with plant-strong dishes, unique, interesting, innovative plant-strong dishes. Because most of the time when you eat out, most eateries treat vegetable dishes, plant-based dishes as almost like afterthought.
Yeah, correct.
It's an offering for the odd one who enjoy vegetables. Most of their menu are focused on something else. So when we found this eatery, this restaurant that we went to recently, wow, in this picture here, this was one of the best that we had.
Where is this?
I'll tell you offline later, okay?
Okay.
It was very good. It was very good. Thoroughly enjoy it. A cauliflower steak. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It doesn't have the texture nor taste of what people expect of a steak. But because of the care that people take in giving that thickness to the cauliflower and the act of like cutting it with fork and knife, actually is enjoyable.
Actually, it's also the fact that I think because it's chunky, right? Like the surface layers, and the inside, you have difference in taste and texture, flavor. So it makes it even more interesting.
This is my favorite. I'm always hunting for good cauliflower steak. If they have it on the menu, I would definitely order it every time, all the time. This is another one that we tried. The difference between roasted or grilled cauliflower and cauliflower steak, it's just the shape and the size. Cauliflower steak, you can have it as the main dish on its own. It's usually meant as an alternative to other main dishes. But for roasted and grilled, it could be as a side, a second dish, or as a sharing, right? And usually it's in florets. But the key here is that because of the way it's done, when you roast or you grill cauliflower florets, then you can use your imagination to add different kind of spices, sauces, and that's what makes it so versatile and allow us to experiment and explore. In A, that's one of your pictures, right?
That was my earlier attempts. I seasoned it salt, olive oil, and paprika. It's just whole, and then wrap it up in foil and then just throw into the oven and let it bake. It's a bit like a giant cauliflower stick. And it's a very easy to prepare dish when you have people come over. You don't even have to bother cutting the cauliflower.
B is also a picture from you. It's a roast grilled cauliflower. And what kind of seasoning or sauces did they put on?
This one is a harissa cauliflower that I had in the restaurant also.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was very good. I was out dining with my parents and they were like blown away by it also. Yeah.
For me, my contribution is C and D. C is one of those that I had at one restaurant. It has a lot of Asian spices, curry powder, and it was very yummy. grilled
Yeah.
cauliflower and then you put all sorts of spices. It's like, wow.
So currently my recent favorite is like every time I buy the cauliflower back home, I'll immediately just cut it up and season it with curry powder and a bit of salt, olive oil, and then I'll just throw it in the oven and roast. Then after I'll pack into the fridge. So that's like my easy go-to nowadays. I can easily just serve it by itself or put it into a salad.
And the picture D doesn't look very appetizing, a mess, right? But it was so delicious. Wow. Actually, I had it at a Vietnamese restaurant. On the cauliflower, there are actually some kind of Vietnamese spices and herbs. Put together spices and herbs on grilled cauliflower on the stick like a satay. Wow. It tastes so much better than it looks.
Satay is a very good idea also.
Yeah, it's a grill,
Yeah.
you know. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
My newfound favorite is something like this, looking so simple. Right here,
Yes.
have it on its own. Like you said, until we found this cauliflower from Naturally Nurtured Australia, we didn't think of eating it this way because of this taste that was not pleasant for most cauliflower. Right? But with Naturally Nurtured Australia's cauliflower, I began wanting to taste the sweetness, the natural taste. So I would cool it, and once it's cooled, I will put it in the fridge. If I have any leftover, usually because I put it on the table, the kids will like finish it off. Something that didn't used to happen before with cauliflower, and right now it's beginning to happen. How about you? Would you rank them this same way as well?
The steamed cauliflower is number one now, if I'm getting this cauliflower, not any other cauliflower. Then 2 will be roasted or grilled, and 3 will be the curry.
These 10 different ways of eating cauliflower is more than enough for us to explore, experiment, and play with. And I want to encourage the people who are watching this to use your imagination to give cauliflower a try. And if you have previously tried cauliflower and didn't like it, can I encourage you to give it another chance and then you try this cauliflower from Naturally Nurtured Australia and see the taste will win you over. So let's come to the last segment of this Whole Foods Plant Strong show. Right, for today, the focus on cauliflower, and we're going to do a mini quiz on cauliflower. And the prize is a gift box of produce from Naturally Nurtured Australia. 2 questions. Question number 1 is cauliflower, broccoli, and kale are all cruciferous vegetables. True or false?
True.
True. And for those of you who do not know what cruciferous vegetables are and why it is a category of family that we pay a bit of attention to, go and read up on it. Congratulations, you got it right. Question number 1. If you get the next question correct, you get the prize. Okay, so the next question, the final question is, which has a lower GI? Brown rice or cauliflower rice?
Cauliflower rice.
Yes, it's a no-brainer. Without being a little bit paranoid about rice, about carbohydrates, for people who are taking excessive amounts of carbohydrate overall in their diet, even though brown rice is generally of lower GI, GI in the region of 50, 60, 70s, depending on the brand, the sauce, and the way you cook it. Cauliflower rice is a no-brainer winner because cauliflower rice is usually not even sent for testing of its glycemic index because everybody knows it's so low. It's estimated that cauliflower rice, the glycemic index is below 20, definitely, as compared to the 50s, 60s, and even sometimes 70s, the glycemic index score of brown rice. So cauliflower rice is a very good alternative. Think of it as vegetables. Think of it as a cruciferous vegetable. And they can use it to displace or reduce your excessive amount of rice or processed carbohydrate that one is taking. Wow. Why not, right? So the fact that it's a low GI is a real bonus. So congratulations for getting the 2 questions correct in the quiz. Right. So, Rain, thank you. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Whole Foods Plant Strong show. Like I always tell people, our choices of food can become medicine, but it does not need to be complicated to be able to do that, to unlock the power of food choices as medicine. Right? We can start by choosing whole foods and getting plant stronger. I hope that this episode of the Whole Foods Plant Strong show have encouraged more people to explore different ways to enjoy cauliflower. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Chan.
Let eating habits be thy medicine. Choose whole foods. Get plant stronger.